I'm Jenny Fern and welcome to my library. I am a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. You know, last weekend I filmed 2 full-length videos, one of which was a reading wrap-up, and I was fully out of focus. I'm now really a little bit paranoid about being fully out of focus because I really have to take advantage of this daylight. Hi, Shmeeb. This is Shmeeb. Her name is Pebble, but we all call her Shmeeb. Today I have a bookshelf tour. I'm really excited about it. I recently got this bookshelf, maybe now a month or so ago, from a free and for sale, somebody in the community, and they dropped it off also, so I didn't even have to worry about transporting this thing. So I have this new bookshelf, I have my old bookshelf, these are my red shelves, and then I can also take you across the room to the 2 read shelves. Let's start with this guy here, and I'm gonna start with the decor on the top and then proceed down through the books. And I'll keep going along through each little area just like that. Let's go. I just said let's go and my dog got really excited about that because she thought I was talking about her. So we're gonna start here and we're gonna end over here. So let's start with this artwork here. This is a needlepoint work. It's got thread stitched, probably following a pre-made pattern. Picked it up from a thrift store a while back. I love the colors. I love that it's fall, it's a pastoral scene, and I just really love looking at it. So that's why that's there. This plant here, it is a plant that I had when I was a literal child. It used to be in a fish pot. I got it from Walmart, and it does have some like crispy tips of the leaves, but I don't overly concern myself with the appearance of the plants. I just mostly keep them alive. Yeah, this one I've had for maybe like 20 years now. Maybe like 17 years. I've had this plant for a really long time. Then I have a Precious Moments figurine. Let's zoom into her. I got this from my grandma when she died. She had a huge collection of Precious Moments. She was really into like home network shopping or home shopping network stuff. And she was really into Precious Moments. So all of the grandkids got to pick one. I picked 2. So if you're one of my relatives, I think it was okay. I think it's kosher. They just seem like a really great pair. So this one, she's selling fresh produce. She has some corn, honey, apples, there's a watermelon, and there's onions. So she, in my head, she kind of represents summer, maybe early fall because of the apples. I'm not like the biggest fan of Precious Moments figurines and how they look, but I think she's really pretty. There's a little spider scurrying in the background. I don't know if you can see that. We have a lot of spiders here. We don't really do anything about them. So her companion is this fall scamp. He has a slingshot in his back pocket. He has all these patches. There's this little rabbit helper of his, and he is painting the leaves red. So he seems like a harbinger of fall. I quite like him. So this is a hand crocheted bookmark from my mom. It is a little dog who doesn't really look anything like Clover, but is supposed to represent Clover. And he is sitting in one of my favorite books and one of my most beautiful books, which I can show you. That book is The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. And this edition is just really beautiful. So this plant up here, I'm going to take it down low so that I can show you it. So this is, well, some people call it Wandering Dude. It's a really beautiful plant. It's very shiny and it's got this purple underside to the leaf. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. I got some cuttings from a coworker who really loves plants. And put it in this pot, which I picked up on the side of the road back when I lived in an apartment. The plants that I used to have in this pot are actually thriving in my front yard. And I think the last item of decor that I have up here is this little flower jar. This has a catch-all. It has some sunglasses and a wrench and like a bunch of screws and stuff like that. Just has random stuff, so it doesn't make a mess. We just put it in this little cup. It is glass, and we got it from some family friends who, when they moved away, were getting rid of some of their stuff, and so we have a matching set on another table. Guess I should say what this candle is. This is a Yankee candle. It is dried lavender and oak. It smells really good. I am allergic to soy, so we don't have any soy candles in the house. I also usually have this pin up there. I just put it aside when I was moving things around. So as you can see, this bookshelf itself is really beautiful. It has these beautiful details. The man we bought it from said that it was from his parents, I believe. It was handmade in Mexico. It's solid wood. We have my books that I've read alphabetized here. So we have Flatland, Live from Death Row, then we have my Douglas Adams books. I have this book that I got from college. I've only read the book of Job, but I count it as read. Fight me, I guess. I also have I Am Death, collection of 2 novellas. Bless Me Ultima, Antibodies from the X-Files books. Maya Angelou, and then I have my Asimov section, Jane Austen, Paul Astor, Perlew the Bold, Miss Hickory, The Eternal Darkness, one of my favorite books, Peter Pan, and then I have all of my Oz books up to here. I also have some taller Oz books that I put down in the next shelf because this shelf is the shortest. And I have The Last Unicorn and The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake. Over here I have my Bradbury section, and then Becoming a Writer. I have 2 copies of Jane Eyre. I loved reading Jane Eyre. This is a little video game thing of my husband's. Then I have The Wild Robot, Bill Bryson, Sphereland, Clockwork Orange, The Secret Garden, Ecotopia, The Stranger, and I start my Orson Scott Card collection. So in this region I have my 2 taller Oz books that I couldn't fit on the top shelf. Then Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, also because I couldn't fit it into my B section. And then I continue on with the Ender series. Through the Looking Glass, The Sea Around Us, one of my favorite books. A Tempest, this was a book that I had read in a comparative fiction class. A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. Yeah, I think this is surprisingly the only Becky Chambers I actually own. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Then The Man Who Was Thursday. Yoke. Finna. The Girls. A Serious Man. This is the screenplay from the Coen brothers. Then I have Foe. Both of these books were also for that comp lit class. The Trouble with Poetry, that was from back in high school. Pinocchio, Heart of Darkness and The Secret Chair. I had to read Heart of Darkness for college, and then I reread it last year, or the year before actually, and I also read The Secret Chair at that time. You know what, that might have been 2020. This book, Good Faith and Truthful Ignorance, which I read for a college class. I think this was for some sort of Latin American history class. Then I have The Red Badge of Courage, which was the bane of my existence in high school. The Last True Story I'll Ever Tell. Then my Sharon Creech. She was my favorite author when I was in grade school. Chasing Redbird, I reread it and it is amazing. She's amazing for middle grade. Then I have Roald Dahl, this whole section here, and my John Darnielles. Then I have Are Prisons Obsolete, Robinson Crusoe, and Then I Woke Up. The Tale of Despero, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I do also have Ubik by Philip K. Dick, but that's over on my bedside table because I want to reread it. And Dorsai. Dorsai was a pretty bad science fiction. Time of the Clock Mice, Twixt, Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, A Yellow Raft in Blue Water, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, which I read in high school. The Lost World, Revenge of the Pequots, which was for a Native American Studies class that I took in college. The Circle, The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm, and The Man in the Ceiling. So now we're down on the third shelf. So here we have Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, and This Side of Paradise. Then we have this book, The Blue Flower, Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe, Gone Girl, Sowing Seeds in the Desert, Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth. Then we have my Neil Gaiman section, which is these 4 books. Cheaper by the Dozen. I have 2 X-Files books by Charles Grant. Memoirs of a Geisha, Matt Haig's The Dead Fathers Club, Princess Academy, A Raisin in the Sun, Sapiens, one of my all-time favorite books, The Scarlet Letter, also something from high school, as was Catch-22. Then we have my Hemingway section, which is The Sun Also Rises, Green Hills of Africa, and The Old Man and the Sea. Down here, I also have a Harry Harrison book, Death World, which is awful, and the book is very, very big. It's one of those prints, like from Amazon, like the public domain prints. Then I have Odessa, a graphic novel, and Gravity Falls, collection of like comic versions of Gravity Falls. Witch's Brew, Open Throat, A Long Way Down, The Kite Runner, and Avenue of Mysteries by John Irving. Then we can see my Kazuo Ishiguro, which is The Buried Giant, Never Let Me Go, The Remains of the Day, and Clara in the Sun. I think I really, really like Kazuo Ishiguro. All of these books have been really special. Howl's Moving Castle, The Phantom Toll Booth, Kiki's Delivery Service, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. I quite enjoy rereading this one. Several people are typing, and then we get into my Nancy Drews, which are by Carolyn Keene, but that's not a real person, but I alphabetize it by Carolyn Keene regardless. Let's get a candle down here for the light. Alright, sorry for the spooky candle ambiance, but it's quite dark down here. These are some of my Nancy Drews that I've read. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Gathering Moss. I've read more Stephen King than this, but I only own Carrie that I've read. The Jungle Book, Toto-chan, Bird by Bird, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Night Thoreau Spent in Jail, which is also from high school, The Lathe of Heaven, and The Word for World is Forest, both by Ursula K. Le Guin. I have a book of garden birds. Then Stanislaw Lem, I have the Futurological Congress, Memoirs Found in a Bathtub, and Solaris. I quite like Stanislaw Lem. Here I have Madeleine L'Engle, A Wrinkle in Time, A Wind in the Door, and A Swiftly Tilting Planet. Then here I have C.S. Lewis. Obviously, besides C.S. Lewis is Sinclair Lewis. And then we have Einstein Dreams, my Jack London books, including The Call of the Wild down here. Then I have my Lois Lowry books over here, The Giver, Gathering Blue, Messenger, and Sun. Then there's Wicked, 1491, also from college. The Life of Pi, The Cholera, The Road, a very, very good book. Over here we have my Adventure Zone graphic novels, On Chesil Beach, Hope, Human and Wild, and We Bought a Zoo. And that's it for this bookshelf here. Maybe a better view of the bottom of the bookshelf. So here we are at my second red bookshelf, still in alphabetical order. So you might notice these 2 prints. This one is called Jackie Boy. This one is called Boobsy Girl. They came from a college roommate. Her grandma died while we were in college, and these came from her grandma's house. She gave them to me. She thought I would like them, and I do. I love them. So I've had these since college. So this painting here, you might think, looks like a finger painting on like blue computer paper, and you're not wrong. I had cancer when I was a child, and this is something that I drew, I don't know, while that was going on, and I said that they were my guardian angels. I also have this coaster. This is from a friend of mine who is Syrian. Over here I have a little bookmark that is supposed to be pebble. It also has a little ball of string. This was also hand crocheted by my mom. And it is in The Ways of a Mud Dauber, my favorite book that I read last year. So I have that on special display. We also have a candle over here, a really beautiful vase from a thrift store, and this little planter which has a spider plant in it. I actually dug this up from outside. I have a whole bunch of them outside, and I wanted to bring some of them indoors. Over here I have a beeswax candle that's all burnt out. I have another candle here, and a milk jug with a crocheted koozie kind of thing on it. Another candle, and this is a snake plant that I had gotten from a roommate who moved out without taking her plant with her. So I was left with it when I moved out. And I haven't taken the best care of it. It used to be larger than this, and it was above my fridge for a long time where there's not that much light. So I now have it over here where it can get a little bit more light. And we also have this little wooden block puzzle that you can put back together. Something else, something very important that I forgot. This small jar is a jar of Clover's puppy teeth. Somehow we were able to save a whole bunch of them. We have 9 of her puppy teeth. So yeah, those are all in a jar. Never been able to save any kitten teeth, but I do have a Lewis. So I think a lot of my videos feature these little books in the corner of them. We have Billy Budd, this is from high school. Daughters of Earth by Judith Merrill, a really good science fiction story collection featuring women. Green Glass House, a really good middle grade. Death of a Salesman, also from high school. Convenience Store Woman, one of my favorites. The Girl from the Other Side, also one of my favorites. The Mountain and the Sea, excellent science fiction about octopus. And The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz, also really good science fiction. So I'm really happy with these books. They're only here because of their last names, but this set of books I feel like is a good representation of me, so I'm happy that they show up in the videos. Then we have Planetfall, Sabriel, The Borrowers, One More Thing by B.J. Novak, Island of the Blue Dolphins, The Merry Spinster, 1984, and Sugarcane Island. Snow, Fight Club, Prison Writings by Leonard Pelter, Bear Party, this is a children's book. Woman on the Edge of Time, one of the most interesting permaculture sci-fi books, very, very interesting. Then I have my His Dark Materials series, Ishmael, A Land So Strange, Idaho. This is all my Karen Russell, Swamplandia, Vampires in the Lemon Grove, and Orange World. She is one of my favorite authors. Idlewild, The Little Prince, one of my all-time favorite books, and The Catcher in the Rye, also one of my all-time favorite books. I suppose I could mention this here. This is a cigar box guitar that my husband made in high school. Then we have Saturn Run, my Jose Saramago, Blindness and the Cave, Victors and Vanquished. This was also for that Latin American Studies kind of class. Me Talk Pretty One Day, and Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk, both by David Sedaris. I'm not the biggest David Sedaris fan. Then we have a collection of 3 horror comics by Steph Seed, an artist who also has a YouTube channel. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Macbeth, The Tempest, Frankenstein, Witch Hat Atelier, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, and Sourdough. Enough for All. Here we have the full series of Unfortunate Events. And up here we have books that I recently read and have not yet placed in the bookshelf because it means shuffling a bunch of books. Those are Earthlings, Across the River and Into the Trees, The Gift of the Deer by Helen Hoover, Sea Change by Gina Chung, and The Well-Tempered Sentence. Over here we have Sophocles, Steinbeck, Snow Crash, Robert Louis Stevenson, What You Don't Know About Charlie Outlaw, and we have my Goosebumps. Here we have Perfume, The Time Machine Did It, The Pearl Diver, My Absolute Darling, The Joy Luck Club, Muse of Nightmares and Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, my Tolkien, The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers. I've not read The Return of the King yet. Then I have Tolstoy, I have The Cossacks and Other Stories. I have read one story in this, and it was one of my favorite things that I'd ever read, and that was Happy Ever After, or Family Happiness. I loved it. I don't even know why. So I put that on my read shelf, even though I haven't read the full thing. A Confederacy of Dunces, The Great Good Thing, Space Opera, Annihilation, Blue Sky Butterfly, The World of Nole, Beautiful Darkness, From the Earth to the Moon, Around the World in 80 Days, Journey to the Center of the Earth. So this is my Jules Verne collection. Then we get my beautiful Vonnegut collection. I used to not own any Vonnegut's because they're so hard to find in thrift stores and such, but I bought a bunch. So I have The Sirens of Titan, Galapagos, Cat's Cradle, Player Piano, and Slaughterhouse-Five. Then Night Sky with Exit Wounds, Chemistry, The Martian, and my H.G. Wells, so The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, and The Invisible Man. The Living is Easy, my Laura Ingalls Wilder selection, and over here we have an Ace double feature, The Void Beyond and The Blue Atom. Then Charlotte's Web, and way over here in the darkness is Doomsday Book. Over here we're very on the floor, on the last shelf, we're in the dark, but we have Blood Struggle, The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, which was one of my favorite books when I was in high school, The Fifth Wave, Lemon, and then these are books I have not read, and they are Running Chrome, Neuromancer, Between the World and Me, The Book Thief, Ready Player One, Euphoria, Cherry, The Angry Buddhist, Prison Memoirs of an Anarchist, The Writer's Journey, and these two from a bookstore, which are The Bright Ages and A Winter's Promise. I also have a little notebook that is like the notebook that you sometimes see in my videos, but it has not yet been used. So my bottom shelf is not yet full because I have to have space for more books as I read them. And these books are stored here for now because before they were in a pile elsewhere. And I really need to put them on my to-read shelf, but I haven't quite gotten there. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of my read shelves. Because I did those series of videos unhauling books, you have largely seen a tour of my to-read shelves, sans some of the books that I hauled last year. So I will be holding off on the to-read bookshelf tour until a future date when I have some more changes going on, but I can show you what they look like for now. They are over there, and they're organized by color mostly, and also there's like nonfiction stacks. I also have a stack of books here, which are destined for my little free library, and I have a stack of books here, which are mostly like Spanish learning books, but also some books that I had in my bedroom that I need to find a place to put them. And that's basically it.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know, how do you organize your books? Do you separate out what you haven't read and what you have read? Do you organize by color, by subject, by author's last name? That's all I have for today, and I'll talk to you again soon.